Ayun. Okay. Alright, this one is better. Let me know how the audio is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ang tiyaga nyo sa akin. Thank you very much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not seeing any comments. Alright, the presumption is you can hear me kasi walang nagre-reklamo eh. Okay, one more time. We're talking about the communist insurgency and the current debate dito sa social media kung ano nangyayari. Pasensya na because that's the mixer. If you can hear me, background noise na lang yun. I'll talk as close to the mic as it is physically possible, ha? Habang maingay pa yung mixer natin. Okay? Alright, let's have your questions. Nasaan na po yung questions ninyo? Game. Loud and clear. Yay! Loud and clear na siya. Every time that we get a remark that says, loud and clear, it's like a victory over the telcos. Alright, so what we're talking about is the communist insurgency. And what we want to do here is to make our discussions a little more nuanced and to be careful also that we don't make more enemies. Halimbawa, marami sa mga kabataan natin, they don't even have political opinions yet. Pero po nakarinig na parang ini-infantilize natin sila. Sinatawag natin, hindi kasi kayo marunong, hindi kayo ganyan, tanga kayo, masyado kayong, dapat dito lang kayo sa poder ng magulang nyo, hindi kayo entitled to your independence. Then we're alienating them. Make them part of the discussion. Diba? Alam nyo, noon, there is a time na, di ba pag State of the Nation, parating may magrarally dyan. It's a tradition. In fact, in the past 2 years, ito lang, during the Duterte administration, hindi talaga ako sumasali sa mga State of the Nation rallies, kahit na pro-government rally pa yon. Itong last night, dito sa mga magulang, ay talagang umattend ako. At saka yung mga, palit-bise rally, mga ganyan, pumupunta tayo sa mga ganyan. Pero when the kids go, when our youth go, at nagrarally sila, pag hindi tayo nag-agree, it doesn't necessarily mean mali yung ginagawa nila. We engage them. Kung sa tingin natin, they formed an opinion dahil sa kakulangan ng impormasyon o kakulangan ng pagkukuha ng ibang mga opinion tungkol dito, then diba, it's not their fault. Well, it's their fault for not getting more information. Pero, I don't think we should take it against them. Kasi pag bata ka, you want to change the world. At kaya ako parate, pagka nag-rally yung mga bata, that's fine. For me, when is the best time to make mistakes? Diba habang bata kayo? As long as your parents are carefully telling you when the mistake might become a permanent one. So yung kung mamumundo kayo, mawawalan kayo ng future, dahil titigil kayo ng pag-aaral, that's when I think they should start listening. But when they're exercising their right to express a political opinion, whether you think that opinion is right or wrong, I think that we should just let them because that's how we learn. I don't want to alienate the youth kasi natututo pa lang sila at nakikilahok sila. I think itong pakikilahok nila sa political discourse is a good thing. Minsan nga lang hindi tayo sang-ayon. And minsan talaga mga tipong facepalm. Like ito, hindi na papapasukin yung mga parents. Facepalm moment yan. But it doesn't mean that we want them to stop engaging. It doesn't mean we want them to not participate in the discourse. Dapat nga mag-participate sila. It's their world too. Diba? It's also their future that is at stake. Huwag naman natin i-exclude ang ating kabataan sa diskursong politikal. Kasi kasama sila, bahagi sila, and we are talking about their future. Ngayon, minsan, pareho sila ng opinion ng mga celebrities. Or yung opinion nila ay posibleng likha ng kakulangan ng impormasyon. So, ang para sa atin, i-guide natin sila, bibigyan natin sila ng impormasyon, and we make it available. We don't need to spoon feed them. In fact, pag spoon feed natin sila, baka lalo nilang hindi tanggapin. But make sure that it is out there. I-recognize natin na kailangan nila ng nagiging independent din sila sa atin. Like, kung mga magulang tayo, Diba? Gustuhin man natin, parati silang nasa poder natin, we also have to prepare them. We also have to prepare them for the eventuality that we will not always be here to protect them, and they must be armed. And ano yung best na armas para sa kanila? Hindi ba impormasyon? Hindi ba edukasyon? So it must be, yung mga ganyan. There are ways and ways of trying to convince them. So we don't want to end up like nandun na tayo sa sa point na naghahabol tayo, nagfa-file na tayo ng petition for habeas corpus. And by that time, medyo late na yun. I know, most parents, hindi naman sila nagkukulang. Hindi talaga. Hindi ko maiisip na nagkukulang yung mga magulang. Doon sa like, si Ma'am Isay, nanay ni AJ, kinuha ng anak bayan. Hindi ko rin masasabi na nagkulang siya, pero minsan talaga, nakukumbinsi yung mga bata. Kung pipigilan natin, for me, it's important that they're politically aware. Pero, part of that, the information that we give them should also include the possibility na, o baka naman, sa kakaganito mo, mahikayat kang mamundok. Baka sabihin nila, na ito lang ang paraan para mabago ang bansa. Ito lang ang paraan para i-improve mo yung sitwasyon. Ay hindi. Kasi being a good citizen is also contributory. If I pay my taxes, if I let my opinions be heard, if I obey the laws, hindi ba nagko-contribute din tayo to nation building? Hindi naman kailangan lahat tayo hero eh. Hindi naman kailangan lahat tayo namumundok at nakikipagbarilan. Yung iba sa atin, all that is expected of us is to obey the law and pay our taxes, which is obeying the law. Diba? I think that they should be given the full buffet of opportunity and information that is available out there. Yung ibang mga anak natin, apolitical naman, yung mga tipong don't care. Yung sa mga, some of my own relatives, andyan naman si Trixie, siya na bahala sa kanya. Diba? So, at least, huwag tayong magagalit pag gusto nilang makilahok. Kasi, it's their world, as much as it is ours, di ba? Marami rin akong kaibigan mga namundok, and they don't want that for their children. Di ba? So, yung mga opinions that say na, patayin na lahat yan, sunugin natin yung UP, mga ganyan, hindi siya helpful sa discourse. And in fact, ginagamit yan ng kabila. Yung mga, especially, alam niyo yung mga nakikita ninyong mga opinion na nagsasabing, walang magbabago. Sige, iniimbestigahan, pero wala namang mapafile na kaso eh. Walang mangyayari dyan. Yung mga walang mangyayari dyan, that is a tool that's being used by the NPA in their recruitment. Diba? Yung mga ganyan, sasabihin nila, wala nang pag-asa itong gobyernong to. Ang isang paraan lang, tanging paraan lang, ay buwagin natin itong administrasyon, mag-take over ang masa. Sige, pareho yung tools. Yan. Yung loss of hope, loss of possibility that things are going to change is one of the strongest recruitment tools. Panahon pa ni Duterte, ngayon pa, na may presidenteng nagbabago ng mundo, na binabago yung ating it's not perfect, of course. Sino bang perfect? Meron bang perfect na presidente? Buti nga ito may nagawa eh. Diba? O ano yung pasabog ni Yusek Badoy? Hindi ko pa nakikita. Yun, maganda yung sinabi ni Apollo Ebdalin. Sabi niya, agree that we should allow our children in political discourse, but we should be vigilant because the left exploit our children's vulnerabilities. How? We have to make them aware of how they could be recruited by the left. Kaya nga ginagawa yan, ini-expose natin. Kaya nagsasalita yung mga katulad ni Naka Eric. Kaya nilalabas ng military. Hindi red tagging yan. This is making the information available. Kaya sinasabi nilang red tagging para i-discredit yung impormasyon. Para i-discredit si Ka Eric, i-discredit si General Parlade. And that is the weakest argument of all. Kaya alam mo yung kabila, yung mga kunwari, pag si Atty. Laliga daw nagsasalita, sasabihin ng kabila, suspendido naman yan. Mahina naman yan eh. Ad hominem yan. Just because may disciplinary action against a certain lawyer, sasabihin nyo na hindi credible, kahit tama yung sinasabi nila. Kaya alam nyo sa hukuman, isang ebidensya lang yung pero yung meron rule tinatawag natin. Sabi ng rule dun sa evidence, just because a person did something before, doesn't mean he will do it again. And just because this person has suffered this kind of damage to his reputation, doesn't mean that he can no longer be a witness. It doesn't mean that this person did not see the murder. Diba? It doesn't mean na automatically mali yun. Kailangan, ang binabasehan natin ay ebidensya. And that brings me to another point. Yung isang point natin is, let's not be too impatient with the legal processes. Kaya nga sa Luminous sinasabi namin, yung mga, alam naman ng lahat na komunista yan. Unang-una, hindi krimen ng komunista. At pangalawa, yung alam naman ng lahat is also not evidence. Kailangan, para patunayan na this person was committed rebellion, ay meron tayong testigo o ibang ebidensya, photographs, or multiple testimonies na nakita itong taong to na nakipagbarilan sa ating militar. O kaya, itong taong to namumundok, may dalang Armalite, naghihikayat sa mga tao na sumali sa kanila. O pinipilit yung mga mga magsasakang dukha, sasabihin, o bigay niyo sa amin yung mga manok niya, wala kaming makain sa bundok. Yung mga ganyang extortion activities. Yan, papatunayan natin yan. Hindi yung, kilalang komunista naman yan eh. Hindi yan krimen, so hindi yan magiging impatient na naman tayo sa proseso. Sabihin natin, kita nyo, may problema yung saligang batas. May problema talaga yung sistema ng hustisya dito. Magre-revgov na tayo and all of that. Excuse me, hindi masyado nagbago ang batas on rebellion and sedition and inciting to sedition nung prosecutor si Presidente Duterte, ha? And he made it work. The system is there to protect us. When we're impatient with it and we want shortcuts, sige, maybe it might work against the people we hate, but it might also work against us. Gusto nyo ba? May guilt of association. Paano kung kunwari sa jeep, nakatabi nyo yung isang NPA, nakunan kayo ng picture, submit yan sa hukuman. Ayan magkatabi sila. Therefore, NPA itong katabi. That's how it works. So, we have to give the strict compliance of the law to the accused. Not to protect them, but to protect us, the innocent. That's how it works. Pero naiintindihan ko na impatient tayo. Nakakainis naman, ang tagal-tagal, bakit ganon? Nakakainis naman, kasi hindi nakasuhan si Duque. Nakakainis naman, kasi si Andy Bautista hanggang ngayon, hindi pa naaaresto. Nakakainis naman, bakit na-sanction ba ang Luzon Development Bank? Totoo lahat yan, nakakainis talaga lahat yan. And sometimes in the legal system, there will be mistakes. And sometimes in the legal system, there will be people who will be pronounced guilty even if they aren't, but because all of the evidence is there. And the evidence to exonerate them is not available because that's how it happens. The system is not perfect. But it's the only system that we have. And it has means to protect the accused and to protect the innocent. Doesn't always happen. Pero the rule is, it's better to let 10 guilty people go than to jail one innocent person. So never mind kung nagkakamali tayo in releasing people, it's more dangerous na magkamali tayo na makulong natin yung isang inosente. Okay, itong si Rom LJJ. Tama ba counter-propaganda, social issues, the other side has been using ever since manipulating the situation? Mga gasgas na issue na ginagamit nila. Communist strategy using people's frustration as a momentum to advance their political agenda. Hindi naman natin sinasabing tama. Bakit sinasabi ninyong tama ba? Okay. Ngayon, did you notice? Ito 91% ang approval rating ng presidente. Nilabas na ng kabila at ng mga pula halos lahat. Berdugo si Duterte. Corrupt yung kanyang administrasyon. Mali yung pag-handle ng COVID. Ang galing-galing nila yan eh. Parang yung pamimigay ng PPEs, chuchu-chuchu, mga ganyan. Ay, masyadong pasista, etc. Nagkakamali. Hanggang ngayon, hindi pa napupuksa ang corruption. Pero 91% pa rin ang approval rating ng presidente. Alam niyo kung bakit? Because there are people like TP and Mocha and and Crisette and Mark and all of these other people, they're there to explain. Nagkakaroon tayo ng diskurso. Naglalabas ng mga facts that the mainstream media either doesn't want to bring out or cannot bring out. Because of the availability of this information, kaya hanggang ngayon, hindi mabuwag-buwag yung suporta ng ating Pangulo. Dahil malaya tayong mamahayag, malaya tayong magsalita. Yung kalayaan na yon ang nagpoprotekta sa presidente. Kaya we shouldn't diminish the ability of other people to speak out even opinions that we disagree with. Kasi yung capability natin to protect the president, that's exactly what is working now. 'Di ba? Tingnan mo, 'di ba? Parang the last survey cycle, nasa 80-something% siya. 83, 85 na ngayon. 91% na ngayon. Bakit? Hindi naman tayo tumigil eh. Hindi tayo tumigil sa kakalabas ng impormasyon. Diba? So, don't be impatient with the system. It's actually working. Hindi lang nga po as fast as we want it to. Sabi ni Sherwin Esase, bukod sa Gabriela, meron pa bang women's organization na tumutulong sa kababaihan? Sana po merong organisasyon pagpipilian na lang na hindi nakakabit sa NPA. Kung merong Gabriela, dapat merong Melchora. Oy, maganda yan. Kung may anak bayan, dapat may anak bansa. Meron dapat kung may makabayan, merong makabansa. LFS, meron tayong Liga ng Pilipino mag-aaral. Agree. But you know who puts that up? People like you and me. So if you see something that you can do it. Diba? Ako, i-encourage ko yung mga ganyan. So, ito. Maganda yun. Sabi ni Michael Dianon, madami na basihan dyan. Unang-una, hindi nga naman magkakasundo ang pamamalakad ng demokrasya at komunista. Aba, parang ang gumagana ata ngayon, komunista na. Sila na ata ang masusunod. Kailangan lang i-red tag sila para malalaman ng mga military na gumagawa nga sila ng tama. Hindi nga gagawa ng tama yan sila kasi iba ang pinaglalaban nila. Opinion ko lang po yun. Hindi kasi clear sa akin yung sinasabi ninyo eh. Gayun po man na yan. Binasa pa rin natin. Sabi ni Ma'am Angelique, I am a 15-year-old teenager and really interested in politics. I'm pro-government and it's pretty hard to be alone in my generation. Well, you're not alone. But I'm really thankful I have adults guiding me, including you. I've noticed people my age aren't objective with their opinions and are easily persuaded by mainstream media, propaganda, and by their own emotions. Oo, but also understand that it's not going to be permanent either. Everybody grows out of this. Ang nangyari lang is kasi may tendency talaga at a certain age to want to rebel. So either nagre-rebelde tayo sa pamilya natin o nagre-rebelde tayo dun sa mga iniisip, sa mga ideologies, ayaw natin magsimba, kini-question natin yung religion natin, kini-question natin magulang natin, kini-question natin ng gobyerno. Halos lahat naman yata dumadaan sa ganon. The question is, after dumaan tayo sa ganon, what do we end up being? Diba? So, I think we should also be patient with those who disagree with us and those we disagree with. For instance, I don't try to convert people like yung mga bayaran dun sa kabilang side, di ba? What's the point in trying to convert them when their livelihood depends on what they say? Pero those people who are genuinely concerned, mahal naman nila yung bayan nila, but they think in a different way from us. Yung mga ganon, I think there is hope. There is hope kasi they're us also except on the different side. Di ba? So yung inaano natin, it's easy to just demonize the other side. But remember, kababayan din natin sila. And iisang bangka ito, di ba? When it comes down to it, the military will save all of us. It doesn't matter what color we are. Ang pinaglalaban natin para sa lahat, even for them. But we have to remember that. Lahat pinaglalaban natin, even the people we disagree with. Sabi ni Mark Aaron Sugiva, I'm also 15 years old. I must say that some of the youth are so easy to become bandwagon on issues these times. Kumbaga po, nakikiuso. Yeah, You know why? It's a shortcut. Yung uso-uso na yan. Shortcut yan eh. Kasi you don't have to think up of something more original. Ay, oo nga, uso yung ganito. So, it's hard then to dress. Let's use the example yung bihis. For the kids who are listening. When you're younger, you don't want to dress differently. You have to dress in the same way that everybody else does. You don't really want to stand out because when you're young, that's when you're learning the ropes and that's when you learn to conform. Because conformity is also part of dealing with the bigger society. We have to get along one way or another. Ang getting along, pag malaki na yung society, is called the Constitution. We all agreed na ito yung batas natin and this is what we're going to have to do. Pag hindi tayo sumunod sa kasunduan na yun, either crimen yun, civil liability, or administrative liability. Okay? When we get older, we start to question. And then that's the time we start to express our individuality. It's hard when you're young. It's hard because that's the time when everybody is working towards conformity or everybody your age is working towards conformity. When later on, lalabas na rin yung need natin to stand out, to be different, and to express our own particular points of view. Some people reach that point earlier. So, congratulations to those who have reached that point earlier. You're more mature. Your friends and your colleagues, your ka-age will eventually catch up. Tinatanong ni Albert Pernia, any thoughts about Speaker Lord Velasco on red tagging? In Hales by the Makabayan Black, Bayan Muna Sarate. We posted about Speaker Velasco. Kasi ito yung kay Speaker Velasco. That's why I don't want to demonize him either. I think he's wrong dito sa sinabi niya, but that doesn't mean I want him kicked out of the speakership. No, not for one issue. We have to understand na yung papalit-palit ng leadership is not productive for us. Kung kaya pa natin to make it work, then we'll make it work because it's too much of a waste of time to keep changing leaders, which is what happens in an instance like this. Okay, so I disagree with what Congressman Velasco says, but understand also why he's doing it. He had just taken over from somebody who was using pork barrel to buy off, allegedly, to buy off, what do you call this? Kakampi. Diba? So, now, shaky pa yung kanyang leadership. It's so new. So, he needs to be able to consolidate his support. And to do that, he has to make everybody who has helped him and who will continue to support him to make them happy. Since he cannot make them happy by paying them off, he can make them happy by protecting them from the public at large. Does this mean na tutunggali siya kay General Parlade? No. He's just trying to protect his own constituency. Okay, Fernando Bawal Ging is asking, is Ka Eric legit? The reason you're asking that is because you're already listening dun sa siraan na inumpisahan ng kabila. I suggest keep an open mind. Also, we have to be careful to distinguish. Even if Ka Eric killed people, for me, that's actually better evidence that he actually was in the underground. It makes him more credible for me. Because he was a combatant, NPA, terroristang activities. Diba? But an ad hominem argument, meaning an argument that tears into the character or something that a person has done in the past, does not necessarily negate what he says. Okay? If you want to negate what he said, then the way the left should be doing it is by saying that could not have happened because this is what happened. Here I have pictures, I have CCTV, I have people who were there saying, no, ikaw si ganito, and this is what you did, yada yada, yada yada, your family is this, your family is that. It's evidence targeted at what he said. When the evidence is targeted on his character, on his person, when it is ad hominem, I would ignore that completely because frankly, I don't care. For me, a witness is a person who was there, who saw with his own eyes, who heard with his own ears, who participated, who was there in the entire operation. That makes him credible. So if they say may pinatay yan, oo, NPA nga siya, di ba? That probably makes him more credible. for me. He still has to answer for crimes if he did in fact commit a crime. But that doesn't make him not credible. That doesn't make what he says something that we should disregard. Tinatanong ni Eric Cabalida, CPP, NPA, NDF, a terrorist? We're waiting for the declaration. But even if there is a declaration by the Anti-Terrorism Council, what it does is it opens up to the possibility of later filing in court to have them prescribed or declared by the court. Pagka ganon, automatically it's a crime, ha? To be a member. Pag declared lang by the ATC, hindi pa siya crime. But it opens investigations. It allows the law enforcement to go to court and ask for things like a warrant for wiretapping. Okay? So that's additional evidence for wiretapping once they have already been declared. Sabi ni Carly Mikhail, I'm guilty of voting for Bayan Muna. When I voted for the first time because of lack of information, I always saw them on TV and know nothing about party list. Parents should educate them about which party list is beneficial to society. I agree. I think we should have political conversations on the dinner table. Sabi ni Yoli Yaychinovich, hope na mapuksa na ang NPA kasi dito sa Europe naka-red ang Pinas sa terorista kaya higpit mag-send ng pera lalo na sa bangko. Opo. And that's why we need to amend the Anti-Money Laundering Act. Sabi ni Freddie Merckx, learning much here. Off na lang ang light sa baba, di maganda yung effect. Kasi pag in-off ko ng ganyan, minsan masyado madilim. Okay, you want to turn off the light? Nadidiliman ako. Kasi dito, hindi ko rin nakikita if it's not brightened on the screen. Hindi ko nakikita yung comments niya. Masyado. Ayan. Okay. Yan, okay. Sabi ni Jex Adrineda, ask ko lang po, what does the army do on an all-out pursuit? Why doesn't the army do an all-out pursuit of the NPAs in the mountains? What makes you think they don't? They do that. Believe me, they do that. I am aware of their operations. Marami sa kanila nagkikwento sa akin, pero hindi lahat po yan naaaring i-report natin kasi malalaman ng kabila pag hinahabol na sila. Sabi ni Ronan Diet, there are many party lists that are actually political fronts. They're very good at deception. Yes, but what is the weapon of misinformation? It's information. Natanong ni Rendezvous on a lighter note, anong laman ng pressure cooker? Luis, anong niluluto natin? Kare-kare.
Yun talaga yung tanong.
I'm not eating. Okay naman daw po yung lights. Tinatanong ni Florence, if Cory Kong, legalize the NPA fronts, my question is, pwede bang amyendahan din ni PRRD o ng Kongreso ng Senado yung batas na yun para mawala na yung nonsense na party lists? Yeah, actually, we can pass a law. The problem is, consolidated ang Makabayan block. At mga gagawin nila is, they'll just be, marunong sila manggapang. So, they'll just be talking to their colleagues sa Kongreso not to vote for that bill. So, problema rin natin dyan is yung yung COMELEC, yung mga interpretation nila dun sa laws. Sabi na, yung ibang ulam nila kari-kari din. Okay. Sabi ni Dal Navarro Takderan, true, attorney, military operations cannot be divulged lest it will be compromised. But I assure you that the military knows what it's doing in combat situations. Don't worry about that part. They're really very, very good at it. The problem is, tuloy-tuloy yung recruitment, dumadami lang nung dumadami. Hindi talaga, the military solution isn't the only solution. Ha? Marami pong bang mga solusyon. Or it must be yung tinatawag nilang whole of nation approach. Okay? So, meron kayong combatants, meron dapat propagandists, meron ding mga kakampi dapat sa Kongreso looking for ways para mabuwag natin yung mga butas sa batas na nagagamit para i-exploit ng insurgency yung ating mga batas. Okay. Sabi ni Devon Ayoki, can you visualize the country without the yellows, reds, lefts completely realistically? No, that's not what we're looking for. That's not what we're asking for, as a matter of fact, diba? The first that we have to do is accept that people will have different opinions. The fact that we have 91% people actually agreeing on a single thing is a major accomplishment for us in terms of unity. We're already geographically predisposed against being united. So, yung mga ganyan, importante yan, ha? Oops. Okay, wait lang. May charger. Yan. Para hindi tayo mamatayan. We are not looking for a homogeneity of opinion. And that should be our second to the last question. Hindi natin kailangan na pare-pareho tayo ng panig o pare-pareho tayo ng iniisip. Pwede namang magkakaiba. Ang hindi natin kailangan when people who differ in opinion with the rest of us decide to take up arms to pursue their cause. That's terrorism or that's rebellion. So, I don't want that. Even if we can visualize a country that has a homogeneous political opinion, why would we want that? That's boring. Okay, sabi ni Jufrey Rosario, I don't know if you know Kamatet. Naging audience niya ako sa talk niya and she narrated how NPA established yung union sa isang company and later how they controlled it at ang objective nila ay hindi para sa manggagawa pero para magsara yung company. Kamatet is a former NPA commander. Yeah, that is true. That is completely true. See, that's where we're now, that's now something like an economic sabotage, diba? Yung sinasabotahin mo, yung mga kumpanya, mawawala ng trabaho ang mga tao, nawawala ng contribution yung kumpanya, nawawala ng kita yung mga tao. So, that's really problematic for us. Sabi ni Voltaire Guevara, isn't it that recruitment of students and, last question, recruitment of students and minors is child trafficking? That's a tough question. Kaya nga, hindi pwedeng mag-recruit pag minor para mamundok. Pero to recruit them into an organization, that's not illegal. So you have to see the difference between those two. Even if so you recruit them, for instance, in a legal organization, that's okay. You recruit them so that they fight into the underground, that's illegal, regardless of whether they are minors or not. Okay? That should be the last question kasi magkakaproblema na naman ang internet natin. Nakikinita ko na. Maraming salamat sa paglahok muli sa live natin ngayong araw na ito. Don't forget to like and share, and please don't forget to follow dito sa Luminous. We'll see you again. Magla-live pa tayo over the weekend. Thank you very much. The dogs are also calling me now. Bye-bye. Siyempre, ang hirap patayin, kung kailan.